Welcome to JCPod. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, or JC. Hey, 1-1 in the NBA Finals, 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and we got some football news. That should basically, it's basically the schedule for today. Basically without any further ado, what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk a little bit of NBA Finals action, just kind of talk about what to watch for before Game 2, before Game 3, kind of what happened in Game 2. NHL Finals, I'll just basically, right after I give this intro, I'll briefly touch on that for a little bit, and then, past that, we're just going some NFL talk for today and see where it takes us from there. But without any further ado, we'll hop in. The NHL. Vegas Golden Knights, up 2-0 against the Florida Panthers, dominating win last night. They went 7-2 after they won the first game. I think they won about 5-2. I think it was a very similar score. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It was 5-2 and 7-2. Thursday is Game 3. I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I'm not even I would call myself a hockey. I would say I would consider myself a hockey casual. That is something that I would give myself that label. But hey, I think it's kind of Vegas this year to take it at this point. Don't get me wrong. I think the Panthers had a really, really awesome run. But them going down 2-0 already, it's kind of uh-oh. Like we said, though, we'll see what happens when they go home and defend home ice. But Vegas it kind of feels like maybe this might just be Vegas this year. It's kind of how it felt like in the NBA a little bit, which I'll get into in a second. But 7-1, or 7-2, excuse me. The Vegas Knights were up 4-0 before the Panthers even scored, and then they scored another 2 goals. So, I mean, it wasn't even close, really. The shots on goal, the way they went, Vegas had 11-7-10. Panthers had 10-13-8, so I mean it was pretty even. It's just actually the Panthers actually had more shots on goal, which is crazy. That just means that the goalie for the Knights did a lot better and had a really good night. But this is how this bounces in, or I guess leans into the NBA series, is that I think one Miami team, they might be sacrificing. Is this gonna be a culmination? That's my just wonder, because that's I want to find the text my buddies sent it to me last night. Here. This is, I was talking about how I made a joke with my boy Rowan. We were talking a little bit about some of the Florida teams. I was like, hey, maybe the Panthers are making the ultimate sacrifice so the Miami Heat can win the NBA Finals. We were just joking around about it a little bit, but if you think about it, the Bucks didn't have the best years. Dolphins didn't have the best year, and then you look at some of the other teams, collegiate-wise, the Miami's men's and women's, made it to the Final Four, basically. Miami, regardless of what I'm about to say, Miami had a very, very good sports year. Very, very good sports year. They had a lot of teams contending. A lot of teams do really, really well. But, man, none of them were able to finish it. So it just makes me wonder, there's no way all these Miami teams get close and don't finish it, right? Right? But no, honestly, the Miami Heat are up now 1-1. Or, excuse me, I guess it's a tie. But Miami Heat are tied 1-1 with the Nuggets. Awesome, awesome game. We're truly watching something special. I still don't think it's hit me to this point how truly special this run I'm watching is, even if the Heat don't win. I'm being a part of this amazing playoff run, betting-wise and everything. I'm truly going to need probably a week or two after the season just to take a step back and be like, wow, is that actually what just happened? Because this is magical, man. What the Miami Heat are doing, this is some magical stuff. It's 1-1. I think it's the Heat on 6 or 7. I'm probably going to place a bet as we're watching the show. Finals MVP, Jimmy Butler. I might sprinkle a little bit more on Jimmy Butler, Finals MVP. I bet him already. I don't have a lot on him. I don't know if I want to do it again, though. So we're probably should stay away from that. I'm just trying to, look at some bets real quick while sorry. I'm trying to find some stuff real quick for. There we go. Sorry, I was just trying to fully get to the game so I could at least talk about it a little bit. So Game 3 is going to be Miami is 2.5-point dogs plus 120 on the money line. Jokic to score 45 is plus 3,000. I'm probably going to sprinkle it a little bit. I doubt he scores 40 again, but maybe the Heat see something they like. That's not too bad. Jimmy to score 40 points is 2,000, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about that Jimmy's is lower than especially just the way he's been playing. The fact that Jimmy's is lower than Jokic's, that's kind of shocking, honestly. Weird, like, not, like, it's just weird. I'm just looking at some, like, these are some big numbers, though. Like, even Murray to score 40 is lower than Jokic. Like, I might just sprinkle that just because. Any player to score 40 points is plus 550. Any player to score 50. Like, they got some weird, yeah, okay, yeah, that's just a weird section to look at. But, yeah, overall, man, when it comes to NBA, like, Game 3 at least, I think the Heat can take Game 3. I would not be shocked if the Heat go 3-1 up at the end of this game, because honestly, shout out to my boy, I'll give you a quick shout out to my boy Matt. He hit me up with the text the other day talking about the Heat spread, or not Heat spread, excuse me, the Heat at home. The Heat are undefeated at home. I think he said like 12-0 the last 2 years, except for the Boston series. You take away the Boston series, which basically the Heat and Celtics traded punches on the road, where they just, like, if you saw last year, the Heat were defended home court, they lose in 7. This year, the Boston defends home court, they lose in 7. But if you take away the Boston series, the Heat are undefeated at home. I want to say it's 12-0 the last 2 years. So him just told me that, I'm like, okay, it gives me a little bit of hope. For the series, the Heat are now plus 220. They're plus 500. Makes me want to. I wish I could sprinkle more. I just want to keep putting more on them as I can, but I probably shouldn't. I think I'm to the point where I'm just going to write out the money line. I'm very excited for Game 3. I thought Game 2 was really, really well played. Now that there's, like, there's not too much, like, betting-wise I want to get into other than the fact of the money line right now. I'll probably be on the Heat money line, probably take Heat spread again. That's just something I like. But basically, like, betting-wise, I just was trying to talk to you guys a little bit while I look through. I'm not going to give... There's not too much that I'm going to give out, honestly. This is going to be another situation where I live bet. My live betting has been, knock on wood, pretty nice. Pretty nice. So I'm going to hopefully try to stick with that for this game, for Game 3, because there's just I don't know what it is, but for some reason, like, just to start out the NBA year before I touch on this game a little bit more. So for whatever reason, start out the NBA year, I just could not get a bet right, like, in the NBA. Like, I'm talking losing by 1 leg. Losing this by a leg, like losing this by 2 points. I'm just getting blown out. Like, I just couldn't buy. Basically, like, in the great words of a basketball player, couldn't buy a basket. And then basically out of nowhere, this NBA playoffs hit and everything changed. But no, then basically, like, playoffs hit and everything changed for some reason. It's been going a lot better. It's been a lot of fun, man. This has truly been a really interesting and fun playoffs to watch. And basically just getting into the game for Game 3, I'm excited to see, like, see if we see more of what we saw Game 2, if it's more of a Game 1 flow. Because don't get me wrong, Michael Porter missed good amount of shots. He's been getting dogged for his defense a little bit, which, I mean, rightfully so. He was kind of lost in some of the screens, so I don't really blame people for it. But, yeah, he didn't have the best of game. KCP didn't have the best of games. And Christian Brown, I think, did really good for the Denver. He's been giving them good minutes. But overall, I think Miami just brought it a little bit more. Denver let Miami hang around, and that's usually the detriment to most teams, because if you've noticed this last... I mean, Milwaukee had more talent than them. New York, that one was a little debatable, but I think that was the general storyline was New York is better and has more talent. The Boston Celtics definitely had more talent and were better. Same with Denver, have talent and are better. But you let this team hang around, it's to the point where it's like you almost can't bet against the Miami Heat. Obviously, there's gonna be people do, and that would make sense. Denver's heavy favorites for a reason. Still, even me being a Heat fan. And me being biased, like, I'm still a realist. Like, there's still a reason that Denver is heavily favored. They're really good. But it's just, like, the fact that if you let Miami just hang around and sit in there like they have been, I mean, you're going to get got. I mean, it's like, as the girl was saying, like, you play the snake enough, you're going to get bit. Like, they let Miami just hang around. Miami didn't miss the shots that they missed in Game 1, and it's just, and you see what the difference is. I mean, yes, it got the 3-point game out close at the end, but, I mean, Denver was in chance to run away with it, and then Miami was even within a chance to run away with it at one point. So it's, man, this series is to the point now. The deeper we've gone the series now, I'm even more confused. I think Miami's gonna win in 6 or 7. That was originally what I was gonna look up for you. Like, this whole time I was trying to look for it, I just couldn't find it at first. So let me take a quick second to look again. But Finals Creek 6-4. If you can get this is what I was trying to look for earlier and I couldn't find. My apologies. Heat to win 4-3 is plus 700. Heat to win 4-2 is plus 500. Your boy's probably gonna man. I might play some. I'm going to try not to place those while we're on the show, but don't say I didn't warn you if it happens. I think the Miami Heat win in 6 or 7 at this point, just simply from the fact that I like what I saw last game. They basically, first off, they beat Denver at home, which nobody in the playoffs has done yet, which is very, very impressive. And two, they made them lose composure. That's a big, big thing for me, because I don't know. Joker lost a little bit of composure towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. Or, excuse me, towards the end of the third and into the fourth quarter a little bit. The Denver team as a whole just seemed like they didn't fully have the composure. And that's just something that usually haven't seen in this playoffs. Like, they were down to the Lakers, and they seemed like they were fine. They were down to the Suns. They seemed like they were fine even in the losing games. Like, that was something that really was like, oh, man, like, he's a little... They look a little, I don't want to say rattled, but, like, they were definitely, like, thrown off their wave a little bit. And you could tell that due to that, that's the type of games that Miami loves. This is truly, like I said, an insane special run. Love being a part of it. I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm very excited for Miami in Game 3. I think Game 3 is Wednesday. I don't think it's tonight. Yes, Wednesday, 8:30. We are headed to the 305 in Miami. It's going to be a really fun game. I think that I'm going to take Heat to win it. Like I said before, I wouldn't be shocked if Heat could go up 3-1, but truly I think it's probably going to end up being a 2-2. Denver's probably going to take in one of these games in a row. We're going to be going 2-2, going back to Denver, and that's going to be a huge, huge, huge Game 5, where I don't know who's going to win it, honestly. I can't wait to get to that point. I will love to be talking about that on Thursday. Actually, I won't be talking about that on Thursday. I'm an idiot. Thursday's Game 4. We haven't even had Game 4 yet. Never mind. I'm excited for Thursday to talk about the aftermath of this game and what happens in Game 4, but we're not to Thursday yet. Let's get to some NFL action. I want to start off the show with something that's happened with my Colts. Isaiah Rodgers is getting probed for the gambling thing. So basically what I've understood to make this, there's reports that of somebody's bet between $20 and $50, and there were a few bets that were small. Here we go. To be exact, yep. There's one. Oh, sorry. I thought there was a few. There's only one. There's at least one low four-figure bet. Most of them was between $20 and $50. There was 100 bets placed over an undisclosed amount of time, including on Colts games. Which sounds like it's Rodgers because he kind of came out and said I have to kind of do better and everything. So he's either going to be suspended a year or 6 months. The fact that he bet on his team, it's probably going to be a year. It could also be indefinitely. But it also makes it sound like it could be an associate of his. That's what I'm confused about. I can't tell if it's actually him or they say it's associate. So that's what we're just going to have to see. It could be anywhere from 6 games to a year to indefinitely. So it's just one of those situations where the gambling problem still is an issue in the NFL. I thought that honestly, it's just one of those things that, like, for players, as much as it sucks, it's like, hey, you got to play the sport, man. You got to just enjoy playing it. You can bet on it. Like, literally, if you just wait a few more years, then you can bet on it. It's just one of those things where you basically you just got to know that, like, hey, man, you're the athlete. You can't be betting on your own sport. We saw a prime example of it with Pete Rose, what happened to him in his whole career. I mean, the Hall of Famer's still waiting to get in the Hall of Fame. It won't ever happen because of just something as dumb as that. So it's just like, you just can't do it. And it's just like, it's going to be very interesting how the gambling works now. Now it's basically being promoted and shoved down everyone's face all the time now. Just with the rules and everything, you just can't. Obviously, like I said, you just can't do it. Can't do it at all. But yeah, with how much is being promoted and everything, I'm sure this won't be the last one we see. The Bills signed Leonard Ford to a 1-year deal. That's not too bad. He played 17 games last year. He had 59 tackles with 9 sacks. His deal is incentive based, so I think it can go up to I think it's like $7 million deal, but it can go up to like $9 million if he's able to get some incentives and if he's able to get, I think, a certain amount of sacks. I think that's what I believe it is. So it's a really good signing for the Bills. Which, speaking of the Bills, they're getting a new $1.54 billion stadium. That's being built. It should be done, I think, by 2026. I don't know if they're going to host a Super Bowl. Usually it does when you're building a new stadium, but due to the fact that there's no... due to the fact that they're going to have no cover still and have the elements going, I don't know if they're going to be able to host a Super Bowl. I'm assuming not because of that. Something I want to bring up, I think it's funny. Biden says the Chiefs building a dynasty. I kind of think they are a dynasty at this point. They've won, I think, 2 in the last, 3 or 4 years. I think their dynasty is kind of I don't want to say cemented, but I think they officially are one. It's just a matter of how big and how deep is the dynasty going to run. I definitely think I think in the next, 5 years, I definitely could see Mahomes getting 2 more. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, with how good they are and how, they just, they just move receivers around a little bit and he still can, it's just that good. I think it's going to be, I would not be shocked if they win another 2 or 3 in the next, 5 years or so. They are the team to beat right now, so it's very, very, they're a very hard team to beat. There's no need for me to, I don't think I need to explain to everybody on how hard they are to beat. The Colts are signing Perryman in hopes of strengthening the receiving group. I think the receiving group is doing all right. I just feel like this is a signing of somebody who's not going to really do much because, honestly, I think it's going to be Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and I guess, now it's going to be between Ashton Doolin, Alec Pierce, and him for the third wide receiver. But, I don't think, I just think, I think we basically just signed a third wide receiver. So, a third, and by third wide receiver, I mean a number 3 wide receiver because I think Downs is going to end up being the full-time 2, even if that means he's playing out the slot mostly. I think he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. Just with what I've seen and what I've been hearing a little bit. I just don't know. I don't think that. I just don't know how much it's going to change in anything, honestly. So I'm not a bad signing, but it's just one of those I really truly don't know how much it's going to do. Something hilarious that for those of you who watch the Pat McAfee show, you'll know about this guy, Chiefs Superman, Chiefsaholic. It's now on a most wanted list. This is something that's just wild, and the only reason we bring it up is because he's on a most wanted list. Literally, apparently there's a Chiefs fan who is just robbing banks to be able to go to Chiefs game. He's just literally robbing banks, and then he's showing up in a wolf costume in the front row of Chiefs games. And he's been doing this for a while. Apparently he missed his court hearing, so now he's officially on the most wanted list. And he was arrested last year for armed robbery and later skipped a scheduled court appearance. And that's not, now he's on the most wanted list, which is just crazy. You want to talk about fandom. hey, some people take it to whole different levels. The mother of the Chiefs chairman and CEO passed away at 85, so that was, for all those of you who saw the Norma Hunt things were about as confused as I was for a minute. That's what it was. I didn't realize she was the Chiefs. That makes a lot more sense now. No, I'm really not much to say there. Just more of I didn't know who. Personally, for me, I didn't know who this was originally, and then once I finally heard about it, I was oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. At least you got to see a Super Bowl, one more Super Bowl again before it happened. Hopefully, your family's doing well and everything. That's just sad. Just sad. It's part of life, though. Jahan Dawson says that Eric Bieniemy has brought a culture to the Commanders, which is something that, Jahan Dobson. I might have said his name right. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, they said Eric Bieniemy is bringing a culture to the Commanders, which sounds like they've really needed. It kind of helps the two that hopefully Dan Snyder's going to be gone. That completely can change the culture. It's gonna. They just need it, honestly. It's been a really, really rough year for the Commanders and Commanders fans. Their team's just been horrible for years and years now. Horribly ran, horribly. So now it's just nice that. As much as I love Ron Rivera and everything, you even saw what happened last year. He's like, wait, we're out of the playoffs now? Even if he was joking or jokes aside, or regardless, that's not a good look. So it's going to be very interesting to see now how much Bieniemy can change them around because they have a lot to do, I think, still. Tyreek Hill says Dolphins fans should be amped for 2023. If Tua can stay healthy, they should be. This is no diss on Tua or anything, but just with the injuries they had last year and everything and how close they were. If he can stay healthy for a full season, I am very curious to see how the Dolphins do, but that's a lot to ask from him right now, so we're going to have to see if he's able to do it. Parkins is hoping to end the Cowboys Super Bowl drought. He said this gotta be our year. Who wants to tell him? No, I don't think the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are past their window with this core. I just think that maybe. I want to say 2-3 years ago was probably about when it was starting to close. Where it's all right, you got about 2 or 3 more years. I think this is I don't think the Cowboys are going to do much this year. I'm going to probably talk about it. Like I said, I'm going to wait for the NBA Finals to finish before I talk about the do the NFL stories again. One of these upcoming stories, like I already brought it up how it was a make or break year for Dak. I just think that, the Cowboys are in trouble. Like, if they don't do, if they don't win anything this year, which I don't see how they do, bringing back basically the same team except for Zeke as of right now, I just assume, like, Mike's going to be gone, Dak's going to be gone, and we're going to see a whole new Cowboys. This Cowboys team has been like this, basically. It's basically when the Dak Cowboys have been in high school, and they've been the same team since I've been in high school. And it's been almost 6 or 7 years now. Maybe even more than that, maybe a little less. But it's just, I think it's just we're about to see a new iteration of the Cowboys. It's just time. I think Jerry Jones is probably getting a little restless too because obviously he's closer to the end than the beginning of his ownership tenure, so he wants to see one more maybe. So it's one of those things where I just think the Cowboys aren't going to do much this year. I think they can still be good, but I don't expect them to win 2 playoff games. I think they'll be lucky if they win 1, honestly. And I think we're going to see a whole new iteration of the Cowboys next year. Bills and Ed Oliver agreed to a 4-year, $68 million extension. Awesome for him. Awesome. He got a bag, much needed, really good player. And it's going to be exciting to see how he does this upcoming season. He was drafted 9th overall in 2019, and he's been a huge, huge part of the Bills since he's been a part of the team. So it's really awesome they're able to keep the guy. Here we get a deal done. Bills, DeMar Hamlin launches a CPR tour to raise awareness at Bill Stadium, which is awesome. His whole story just continues to be amazing. So I'm really happy for him, man. Gets to live his dream again, gets everything, hopefully goes back to as normal as it can be, and now, he gets to not to make this sound awful, but he gets to basically push this narrative now and push this awareness, which in a good way, like he survived something that's very, very scary, and now he gets to basically push the narrative, talk about it, be the vocal leader of it, and it's something just awesome to see because he's definitely the right type of guy to do it, I think. So I'm very excited for him, very happy for him that he gets to do that. The Bears stadium plan is at risk now after property tax assessment, so it sounds like the Bears might not move to Arlington. Also, I heard they might go to Naperville instead, which either way, it sounds like the Bears might be out of Chicago regardless, but it's just more of a where are they going to go. And the more it sounds like it, the more, especially with this tax assessment, the more it sounds like they're probably going to end up going to Naperville. Because it says, they basically came out and said, the Bears announced Friday that, sorry, I was reading it, trying to read it as I was doing it. Let me try this again. The Bears announced Friday that they were building, we're going to try this a third time. The Bears announced in a statement Friday that building on a 326-acre site in Arlington Heights, Illinois, is no longer their singular focus. There we go. Jesus, that was rough. But basically I think they just realized like there's going to be some issues, so they're just trying to, they might try to move it to Naperville because Naperville I think might be slightly a little cheaper and might be just a little nicer. And I could be wrong with the nicer part, but stadium-wise, it sounds like they're getting ready to move it a little bit. Packers wide receiver Dobbs says he doesn't see the big difference between Rodgers and Love. Of course, he's going to come out and say that and defend this guy, but I am excited to see how the Packers do. I am very interested. There's a lot of good stuff coming out about Mr. Love, so I'm interested to see how he does. Cowboys are on top of the Forbes list with the most profitable team still. Congrats to them. According to this, they have $1.17 billion. During a 3-year span. And then second place is the Patriots with $623. It just shows you the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, the money. The one thing I won't take away from the Cowboys and Jerry Jones is how much money he makes with that stadium. Because he did that stadium. The way he did that stadium and Jerry World and everything, and the business he runs with the Cowboys, like, that part of the aspect, I give Jerry Jones a lot of credit because he does that part amazing. Because, the Cowboys are for sure the biggest moneymaker, and hey, they're always in the prime times, and they are still America's team. Cardinals Gannon Hopkins released best thing for the team. Okay, let's be honest. They probably did it in favor for him. Be like, hey, we'll do you a favor. Thank you for it, all this, man, and all that. But to come out and say the best thing for the team, that's just idiotic. The fact that he just came out and said that, like, I originally thought the over/under wins of 4 for the Cardinals was too low. They might have it right, man. To say that that's just dumb. To say that it's the best thing for the team. Like, no. They lost one of their best. They probably lost their best player on the team now. Texans, Stroud displays in camp. He's very eye-opening, apparently, what Stroud's playing in camp, and D'Amico Ryan's saying that they like what they see. I'm interested to see how the kid does. It's going to be a really interesting AFC South this year because we could see Will Levis starting at some point. It's Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence. There's a lot of young cats in that little playpen over there. Lamb said he's not distracted by potential contract extension. I am going to be interested to see how much Lamb makes. I do think Lamb stays around. Back to my Cowboys point, I think he's going to be the one to stay around. I think everybody else, like I said, I think a lot of the main people are going to be gone, but I think they're going to try to rebuild around Lamb and the next iteration of the Cowboys. Especially, I think Tony Pollard will probably stay as well. He expects to be cleared by training camp. Hopefully he comes back healthy because, man, that injury he had really, really sucked. Raiders, McDaniel says he has no anxiety about Garoppolo's availability. Probably has no anxiety because they're probably just assuming, like, hey, we just aren't going to have this guy. No, I'm just kidding, though. But the fact that the whole Jimmy G situation is still really, really weird. I don't get how the Raiders signed him knowing they didn't need surgery and all this. I just don't get that at all. Hopkins is interested in returning to the Texans. I think it's more of a later in his career thing, just so he can maybe retire there to finish. I don't think he's going to go there this year. I mean, maybe now that some of the people that are there are out, but I doubt it. I think he wants to go to a contender. Brady, he's certain he's not playing again. Hey, if that's actually true, good for him. I think the last season he played, he probably should have retired the year before that and on a little bit of a better note. And then the last thing I'll talk about today is the Packers debate term rebuild as they adjust to life without Rodgers. So they are in a rebuild, but it might not be a true rebuild. I mean, they don't have to retool everything completely, but they are basically in a rebuild because they do got basically, like, they have a new quarterback, and they were in a partial rebuild last year. I mean, they had a whole new offense, basically, receiver-wise, and now it's a whole new offense, receiver-wise, and quarterback-wise. They could be without Aaron Jones after this following season. Like, there's a lot that's going on with the Packers that, I mean, yes, it's not a total rebuild, but it's a partial rebuild at least, to where they're maybe even like a retooling, but either way, I consider that a rebuild. But yeah, I think that regardless, the Packers are basically we're seeing a new portion of the Packers. I mean, this could be like a thing where it's like, because even if Jordan Love, they don't like what they're seeing from Jordan Love this year. I mean, they're getting a new quarterback within another year or two then as well. So yeah, that's probably where I'll end it today. A little bit all over the place with the sports. There's kind of got lost in a few tangents here and there, but that's the beauty of it, baby. We just let it happen. Thursday, probably just gonna talk about what happened with the NBA. Yeah, probably just talk about NBA Game 3, a little bit of NBA Game 4. If there's something big NFL-wise, I'll talk about it. But for the most part, oh yeah, I also forgot to mention Brett Kern retired. That happened last show, basically as soon as I got off, done recording. But yeah, I think basically, what is it, Thursday we'll just talk a little NBA action, what's going on there, maybe some MLB, maybe. I might just let that slide and then maybe talk a little bit more NFL. But regardless, you'll for sure get some NBA talk. The second topic of the episode will still for debate. And then Friday I'll be appearing on Captain by Hook with my boy. But thanks to everybody for watching. Not too much NFL news. We're kind of in the dead of the offseason. So we're about, I would say, maybe about, we'll still get some news. We're probably about 4 weeks to 6 weeks away from like the real big news, like in July and August going into the season where we actually get stuff. But yeah, we're just until then, we basically just got to enjoy these little tidbits of how C.J. Stroud is looking great in OTAs against the Air. But no, thank you everybody for watching. Hope everybody enjoyed, and I'll see everybody again later in this week.